Here on Overtime, and now we're going to ask the questions that the people on the internets have been typing. Lisa, here's one for you. Have you ever experienced a more hostile environment toward environmentalists than now?
I do think that what we're seeing is unprecedented, and I think that what amazes me the most is that the people aren't where the attackers are. You know, 75% of Americans, poll after poll, say that they want EPA to do its job, and they don't want politicians to tell them what's healthy and safe for them.
So, you know, I was going to ask you, did you always want to do this? I mean, when you were a young girl, did you say, I want to be a pollution fighter?
No, I grew up in New Orleans in the 9th Ward, and yeah, absolutely. And you know, one of the things we talk about a lot at EPA is that the environment is broader than the conservation movement, important as it is, that spawned it. That people of color now need to understand that when you talk about asthma, it's 1 in 12 in the population, it's 1 in 7 in Puerto Ricans. It's 1 in 8 or 9 in African Americans. So when we talked earlier about your air is my air, it disproportionately impacts people who, of course, can least afford to pay for the health care they'll need. All of that is a burden on society.
But why Puerto Ricans?
I don't know.
I'm just
I don't think
wondering
it's
why
an
Puerto
honor they
Ricans get
want.
asthma so much. I'm not.
I don't think it's an honor they want. I do think that it's something. I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor, but I know that one of the things that we're working hard on is trying to figure out how to stop the air pollution that causes their attacks.
Especially among Puerto Ricans.
Listen.
I don't understand.
If you live in places where there are environmental causes for things, and then you have less access to health care, then you end up having the diseases that are caused by environmental pollutants, right?
Okay.
I mean, you probably can't, anyway. I was just going to say, you probably can't spell that out like that because you're the EPA administrator and somebody will attack you as a Sharia law proponent for saying it. But
those are actual statistics,
Yeah.
1 in 7, 1 in 6,
Right.
and it costs all of us. It is not a Puerto Rican problem. It costs each and every one of us when that happens.
Okay. Do you think that teabaggers will ever get it that they're part of the 99%? No. And any question that starts with, do you think teabaggers will ever get it? I don't even need to read the rest of the card. Anyone who names themselves after a gay sex act doesn't get it. Do you think the demise of Obama's long-term health care program will affect his 2012 campaign? I didn't realize his long-term health care program was in demise. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
They knocked out a long-term care provision that was too expensive. I think if anything, I mean, it's an important problem that needs to be addressed. If anything, I think it might help him slightly because he's able to say, listen, you know, the parts of my plan, it turned out not to work. I was reasonable. I got rid of them. You can trust me in another term.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Constitution of the United States was not perfect on first draft. That's why we have amendments. You know, even those brilliant founding fathers were like, oh, fuck, we left some shit out. I had a quill. Somebody get me a quill. I had a whole...
like it was us.
God damn it. I mean, you know.
We finally got it.
It's like, right, nothing is...
People act like Obama will be running in a void, that it's a referendum on him, yay or nay.
Right.
The Republicans are going to have to put up somebody who is a reasonable alternative, and I don't think there is one in the race. So then, if the alternative is not reasonable, then he might not be getting the approval ratings numbers that he wants, but still be reelected.
It's going to be Mitt Romney. And Mitt Romney, you know, some people, you know, knowing my religious antipathy, say, you know, Mitt Romney's a Mormon. Aren't you worried? I am not the least bit worried about Mitt Mormon being being a Mormon. Mitt Mormon, because he's showed that he will do a 180 on absolutely anything. Trust me, the second Mitt Romney gets into office, he will institute the jobs plan that he is fighting so ferociously against right now. He has proved that he has absolutely no beliefs, and that will be his greatest asset.
Do you think that Romney can beat Obama?
I do think Romney could beat him. I don't think he will. I know that I hear a lot of people say, well, you know, no president has ever won re-election with unemployment over so much percent. Yeah, until it happens the first time.
Right.
Nothing happens, you know, everything is a rule until the rule changes. And I think this could be the election where the rule changes. I think unemployment will be high, and I think Obama will be the first president to be miraculously reelected with high unemployment, because things change and rules get rewritten.
The guy can't inspire passion.
Who?
Romney. And if he can't inspire passion in the electorate, then he's not going to be able to unseat an incumbent.
Well, it's not clear that Obama can inspire a whole lot of passion either this time around, no offense. But, you know, you look at his base and they've been falling away. And you have these Occupy Wall Street protesters who, most of whom I imagine would have been Obama voters in 2008. I mean, he's got a difficulty in inspiring
But they're changing
people too.
that. I mean, in the last few months, you know, I feel like, I don't know if you had a big meeting there at the White House and said, okay, we have a new strategy. But since he's been going around the country, standing under bridges and saying, we got to fix this, and this unemployment guy could be the one to do it, and really being in their face and taking it to them in their own districts and not being Mr. Conciliatory, I think he's become more popular. People like it better. And I think you're on your own version of that kind of tour, are you not?
Sure. You know, this idea too dirty to fail is my way of saying to the American people, let's look at what's happening in Washington. My hope is still that the environment will come out of the political realm and we'll really talk about jobs, the things the American people want to talk about, the thing that the president is trying to get everybody to work on in Washington. And I do think that the president's made it clear that he's going to offer a real choice to the American people, a vision forward for this country that's built on clean energy, that's built on moving forward, thinking about where we need to be in the future. And, you know, my hope is that the environment won't be part of that debate because it shouldn't be.
Right, it
but
should be.
there are lots of other very clear choices.
But also it seems like you guys have just gotten the memo that for the American people to get behind you, you need a lot of just repetition. You just really got to get it through their thick skulls over and over. That's what the Republicans do. They say the same thing over and over. The Republicans see something that's polling at, you know, 85% approval rating, and they go, yeah, we can get it down to 50.
Yeah, but
That's doable. Yeah, they like the public option. They won't like it in 6 months because every one of us will go out there every day and we will say it over and over and over. They're taking away your freedom with some other bullshit they'll make up, and they will move the polls. The Democrats do the opposite. They're afraid of the polls. And I feel like now maybe they're kind of getting that thing that you go out there every day, you stay on message, and you can't. The people, they don't.
Well, the problem is you have a lousy economy that isn't as susceptible to moving polls around as it is for some other issues. I mean, that's sort of the big albatross. I mean, I think that the best hope that Obama has is that whoever the Republican nominee is reflects the kinds of positions that they're taking in these debates. You know, wildly anti-unemployed, pro-Wall Street, anti-environment, that sort of thing. That's what you need to do right now to win the Republican nomination. But that's probably not a viable general election strategy.
I think the other thing that Obama is doing, in addition to just talking about the kind of agenda that you were describing, I think that was sort of where he was at for the whole first term. But what's happened in the last couple of months that you're identifying is that he is talking about why people don't feel like politics is working. What you're describing about how even if you can motivate people to want to do something, even if you can get people to agree wildly on something that needs to be done, there is still this frustration that the political system will never get it done. And what he started doing is being more confrontational about naming what's broken in politics and saying, you know what, this guy whose district that we're in, whose bridge abuts this side of the river where he's the member of Congress, he's voting no on this, and that's a problem, and you need to call him. And naming that is empowering because it lets people know that it's not just going to this void, your anger and frustration, or even your hope, but there is a way to move things forward practically.
I think he got over this idea he had at the beginning that he could make everybody like him, including the conservatives. And I mean, do you notice it? Do you see a change in him in that way?
I also think we were busy doing a little thing. He was governing. I mean, there's been tremendous progress on a range of policy issues. Now he's going to talk about them, and I think he is going to talk about them in a way. The other thing, and I think, Rachel, you're absolutely right, he's where the people are. The people want to talk about jobs. They want to talk about a sensible solution on debt, and the people want to talk about having an EPA that works. Every poll shows that elected representatives inside that beltway are listening to somebody, but it doesn't seem to be their constituents. It seems to be people with big checkbooks.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That was terrific. Thank you, audience. I appreciate you coming in for us.